Welcome back, and to shed the light on more information about the mummification, we are glad to be joined by Mr. Yahya Hussein Mahmoud, and he's the head of the International Training Center. Hello, and welcome to Nile Cruise.
Hello, thank you for having me. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Of
Thank
course,
you.
you're youth, you're young, you're optimistic. You have
you.
loads of enthusiasm when it comes to your work.
Thank you, thank you.
You
a
work
pleasure
in
for
a
me.
very special place here in Egypt. I don't want to ask you this traditional question, when did you start working here? I just want to ask you more important or more innovative question, which is,
I'm open for any question.
how did you start here, and how did you decide to work in such a wonderful place here in Egypt?
I started here in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization since I graduated from the Faculty of Archaeology. I graduated
Faculty of Archaeology.
Archaeology, Cairo University. I graduated 2010 and I started working here 2010.
So you and Bassem Raouf graduated in the same year,
the
and you
same
enrolled here in the museum at the same time.
Yeah, my interest here is for conservation. I am a conservator. So for me, since I worked here, it was a pleasure for me because to have the opportunity to work in your field since you graduated, and I think it's an opportunity is not available for many youth in my age. So I was very happy and very proud to have the opportunity to be here and to apply what I started or what I learned through my studying for 4 years in the faculty, to have the opportunity to apply it here and to have the time and the experience to learn and to be between my colleagues here, which I learned a lot from them. So it's a huge and appreciated.
Was it your dream during the 4 years that you were at university, and were you enthusiastic about working here, or you did not have any idea about the dynamic at that point?
Of course, it was a dream for all of us.
It was your dream.
Yeah. Of course, to work in your field, it's a pleasure and it's a dream. Yeah, of course. I think no one in my colleagues think that he's gonna work in his field, because we think till between 8 years before we graduated, there was no one working in his field because there no opportunity. So to have this opportunity and to have the dream to come true for you to work in a place like that, and to work in a practical way and through objects and monuments, it's a pleasure, and I was proud and I was happy, and I think it was for me it's opportunity I don't dream of before.
But what makes this place different than other museums, from your own, of course, point of view?
What makes it different is its concept as a museum. So you can see that the other historic museum, it's the main interest of it is to exhibit or to show a monument as a monument for a historic period, or one historic period, like the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum, or the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir. It's focusing on the pharaonic period. But here in the National Museum of Civilization, no, you are talking about how this civilization has been developed through the different eras. So we are not showing how it was beautiful or how it was huge. Or you are showing some kind of the development, the cultural, how they used these monuments, or those objects as they were developed through the ages. How
you're telling the whole story of this object.
Yeah. And that, I think, it's something strange for the people to understand or to accept it, because we don't have this idea before. But the way we are gonna exhibit it, or the galleries, how the galleries, how we use the multimedia, or how they are gonna use the interactive exhibition is gonna more focus this idea and it's gonna make it more clear. And I think it's gonna be a different experience. I think.
Okay, Yahya, is one of your dreams to be one day a touristic expert?
No. My character is always related to the practical job, to do my work with my hands. And I think that from day one, when I was in the faculty, I don't know is the exact department of the college. So I asked the elder,
The tutor that was there?
yeah, to ask them what is the department.
Or your professor?
Yeah, and they told me that there was an historic department that such as Pharaonic and the Islamic department, and they told me that there is the restoration department, the conservation department, and then they told me that it's an hard department because it's you have to work for a long time, you have to make some kind of practical we call it objects or something like that, and they used to make it a deformation for it, and you restore it, and that needs a long time and needs more efforts, and it needs an exam before you can enter this department. And I took the risk, and I accepted because I know that even if not, I'm not sure that I'm going to succeed, but I know that that's what I need, or that's what I am. I am more practical than to studying and reading and something like that. It's not my character.
Speaking about mummification, of course the pharaohs were so successful in this process, and they just make the mummy and leave it that it lives for thousands and thousands of years. Until this moment, we did not reach to that secret.
Yeah.
Our mummification process, how long does it last?
Nowadays?
Yeah, nowadays.
It don't last for a long years.
How many years does it last for?
It may last for 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, but not long. We know the secret of the mummification. We know what they used. We know the concept.
So we know the whole information?
Yeah. We know the concept.
So what's missing?
Because we have all the facilities to know to make analysis, to make investigations, and to know what those materials or composition were, how they use it and how they apply it. But the secret was, I think, that they were very intelligent to put the mummies in the most suitable cases and environment. The environment has a big role to save the mummies, and that's why they use the desert, they use the mountain to bury their bodies. And I think that how dry was those areas or some kind of that is that the main reason that the mummies were reserved, preserved. I think that is the secret. So here in our days, the moisture, the heat, any kind of these conditions is going to be hard to save any kind of mummies, even if you use the right materials, if you the same technique. But I think it's all about the way and where they put it.
Okay, Yahya, UNESCO plays a great role in organizing these workshops. Would you shed light on its role in supporting the scientific research in the museum?
UNESCO played a huge role with us.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, and a very important and a huge role with us, the UNESCO, for training and for giving us an opportunity, even if they are not the one who's organizing those training programs, but me as a person, I can apply for any kind of training I think that is going to be useful for me or beneficial for me. And I told them that I wanna go this place, I wanna take this training course in my specialty, and they're gonna support me. And even if they're any kind of support, they're gonna connect with them and tell them that they want this stuff to go here or there to have the opportunity, and I think they were very useful and very beneficial for us to support us and to give us those opportunities.
Okay, there's a section here for kids and children to learn more information and to be trained. When we come to restoration and conservation, how do you teach the children about this process?
It's not that complicated, but they give them a hint about what we are doing, giving them an example how we are protect the object, how it's going to be in some kind. It's if it was broken, if you have some kind of cracks, if in some kind of dust on them, how we clean it, how to make it safe from any kind of damage can be used, how to handle it, because it's a very important thing, how not to touch it. I think it's simple, but it gives them good information about how what are we doing. And in some cases, they make a tours for them in our labs to see what we are doing, asking for something if they are working, and we can tell it in a simple way that this is a chemical, this is some kind of brushes, we use this for that, and we use it for that. And
Yahya, do you think one day you're gonna know the secret behind the mummification?
As I told, it's not a secret, because now we have the facilities and we have all the ways to know what they used. But I think to know...
But you don't know how to reach the know-how that they used
we want to know the idea behind the process itself.
This is the secret.
Yeah, and the secret, as I told, as I think that it's how the whole process was done, and how the whole processes, how they plan it for, and how they choose the area they buried their bodies. I think this is the main role for this for this secret. Or for
okay.
This
anyway, Yahya, we hope you best of luck, and we hope you one day you reach the secret. I'm sure Egyptians will, because we have the willpower to do whatever we want. We decide to do, and we
thanks
will.
a lot. But I want to give a shout out for our colleagues here, led by Dr. Mustafa Ismail, who is our colleague, and he's the one who's planned for the whole process of the restoration and the conservation for the royal mummies, and who's planned for the transfer from Tahrir Museum here to the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. And his team, Dr. Wala and Dr. Iman and Mahmoud Abdullah, those four and others, was the main persons who's behind the scenes of this whole process.
Yes, this was the question I was going to ask you now. Some important artifacts were transferred from Tahrir Museum to the Grand Egyptian Museum, while others were transferred to the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization here where we are now. Would you tell us what are the artifacts transferred to the Grand Museum, and what are the artifacts transferred to the Namek?
Yeah, the gem.
And why?
Okay, the gem or the Grand Egyptian Museum, the main or the masterpieces is the Tutankhamun whole pieces, which is about more than 5,000 pieces, which is not all of them exhibited in Tahrir Square. They took it
this
from...
This is here in the Namek.
No,
in the gem, in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yeah. Here in Namek is the main exhibition, or the masterpieces is the royal mummies. The royal mummies, which is about 22 royal mummies, 4 of them for queens, and the other 18 are for kings, is the masterpiece here in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. And in the Grand Egyptian Museum, also they are interested in the huge and the heavy statues in Tahrir Square. Here we are searching, or what we transferred is what is more beneficial for the scenario of the exhibition here in the National Museum, which is about how they use those objects, how they made it, how the manufacturing itself, and also why they use those things, the tools they use it, the culture behind the tradition behind those objects. I think this is the main interest here in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, and that's what make it different. The difference between here and the Grand Egyptian Museum and other museums, I think.
Yeah, what is the most famous restored artifact here in the National Museum for Egyptian Civilization?
A lot, but I think the most important thing, the conservation process which has been made to the mummies, the royal mummies in Tahrir Museum, and they're still in the Tahrir Museum. But our colleagues who made those the conservation processes in the Museum of Tahrir, and also the royal coffins, which has been transferred from Tahrir Square to here. Here also our colleague made a great job for conserving them and to make them ready for the gallery and the exhibition. I think those are, it's about 17 coffin, 17 wooden coffin, and they are impressive, and they make a great job for conserving them. I think those are the most important object has been restored recently.
How old are you, Yahya, and how long have you been here?
I am 31 years old and have been here for...
You're 1 year younger than Bassem Raouf.
Yeah, and I've been here for 11 years.
11 years, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Yahya, the technology plays a main role, of course, in our lives, and of course, in technology and social media has become contagious. In the multimedia presentation of the museum, of course, it has a main role. Would you shed more light on the role of technology in museums nowadays? And does the role of technology in this sort of museum, is it different than the archaeological museums? If yes, please tell us how, please.
Yes, of course. I think a simple example for that, nowadays we are not asked for, or are not used to, or are not should to complete any missing parts if it's not necessary. Why? Because now an interactive exhibition or screens or touching screen, you can know any information about it, even if it's not a complete. You can go and you can have an information, go whatever you want. If there are an example for it in another museum, it's complete or something like that, you can take all the information without having without making any kind of restoration or completing for missing parts, because all the information are available. Without, even if it's not, you cannot see it in the object, you can find it in the screens or the videos or the touching screen and interactive screens. All of it make it simple for us and also for the visitors. So it's very impressive. Also, you can exhibit videos which can tell the whole story about the object without having any kind of a guide to tell you or to say anything to you. So I think it's more beneficial. And now you can visit the museum while you are in your house. You can take a tour. Here you can take some kind of photos and make it like a 3D or a 3D videos, and you can see the whole galleries or the whole museum while you're in your house. So it's more even if it's in a far place or in another country.
Okay, regarding the mummies that are going to be transferred, the royal mummies that are going to be transferred here in this place, how long it's going to stay here, and does it need maintenance all the time?
Right now, it's going to start. It's going to last forever.
Forever.
Without maintenance. Without maintenance.
No, it always need a maintenance. Always, but we call it a preventive conservation. We should not make an active intervention or treatment, because if you can set all the environment, make it in an appropriate way or an optimal way, you are not need to every time to make an active conservation and to take a real action. You want to check for the moisture, the heat, and also the temperature, and also to make sure that they are not in an environment which has an oxygen, because always oxygen is the way that make the insects or the microorganisms work on especially the organic materials.
Yahya, in a simpler way, what you want to say is that you're not going to be interfering with the mummies. You're going to be taking care of the mummies.
Yeah.
But you're not going to make any direct intervention because you're just going to work on the environment surrounding the mummy.
Yeah, this is the main aspects of our work. But in some cases, you need a real intervention.
You need to intervene.
Yeah, but not
when are these
always.
cases when you need to intervene?
When you have some kind of breaks in some bones, when you have some kind of
cracks.
Yeah, or cracks or something like that. Then you need to make an real intervention. But if it's not, you don't need it. If you are making sure that all the environment is in a good condition, it's going to last for years. That's what I think.
Do you need any additional questions?
I never stop. Yahya, while transferring the mummies, the most important thing to keep the mummies from sustaining any damage, what are the measures that must be taken to preserve their integrity?
Our colleagues, as I said, they take a lot of our colleagues. Our colleagues, it was a team responsible. I am not an direct. I have not.
Indirect.
Yeah. I am indirect, and I'm not an direct involving in this.
So there's a team responsible for this.
Yeah. But they took all the considerations, which is, as I said, to put it in like a capsule with no oxygen, only nitrogen, to keep it in a safe condition, and to control the temperature, the moisture, and also the vibration during the transferring process.
Do you have any idea how these mummies are going to be displayed in this museum?
Yeah, it's a gallery here under the central gallery. It's like a tomb to give the atmosphere that you are entering a tomb, and they're going to be in each mummies in an individual showcases. I think it's more modern and more. It's going to be more interactive, and I think it's going to be impressive.
Anyway, I'm very proud of this place. It's a place that makes us really Egyptian proud
Thanks
citizens.
a lot. Thanks.
It's a wonderful place. It has
Thanks
everything in every way. It has the mummies. It has the archaeological artifacts. It has the bazaars. It has the cafes. It has the cinemas. It has the pyramids over there, and the glass pyramids that oversees all over Cairo, which is wonderful. So, do you know?
Yeah. It was a pleasure to having you today, Yahya Hussein, head of the Conservation Laboratory here in the NEMIX. And thank you once again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Yahya, for being with us in today's episode of Nile Cruise. It was our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Dear viewers, this was the segment of Nile Cruise. Don't go away. We'll be back again.